Joe, there's a lot of things to talk about. Why don't we start off with a real positive? Saturday's game at the stadium against the Blue Jays, Robinson Cano hits a porcher, and then he hits a scorcher. Two two-run home runs.
Both of them count the same,
Yeah.
two two-run home runs, and it really helped David Phelps. We scored the 3 runs with 2 outs and a runner on second. We hadn't scored a run, and Girardi got a hit, and then Robbie hit the 2-run homer. Gave Phelps a little breathing room after the first 3 innings, and then he continued to roll and gave us 7 strong innings again. But Robbie had a big day. The 4 RBIs, the 2 home runs. He looks great.
You know, it's interesting, Joe, because one of the things that makes Robinson great, sometimes gets him into trouble. He has not been putting up great stats before that 2 home run game because he's swinging at pitches that aren't strikes, but he's so good that he can hit those pitches.
Yeah, the thing about Robbie is, and we've talked about it, he's really never going to go into a prolonged slump because he hits the ball all over the place. He hits it to all fields. And, if you want to shift him, he'll hit a ground ball right to where the shortstop would normally be and get a base hit. He'll hit a line drive down the left field line, and he'll hit a ball in the seat. So I don't think he's ever going to go in a prolonged slump. I think because he's so good that when he doesn't get hits, we're a little bit surprised. It's kind of like Mo, Mo was. When he didn't save a game, you're a little bit surprised, but he's a great player.
Now, we're going to talk about injuries in just a moment because it's been such a big part of this Yankee season, but one of your injured players got back in the lineup on Saturday, Travis Hafner, and he hits a bullet home run down the line in the 8th inning.
Yes, and he hit one earlier, just foul, and he hit the first, his first at bat, he hit a bullet up the middle. It's just a different swing again. It's what we saw before he started having the shoulder problems, which is really good for all of us to see, and you just kind of see the whip in the bat and the ball really jumping off his bat. So he's back.
Because he's had shoulder problems before, he's missed chunks of seasons, do you have to manage him differently?
Oh, well, we have been. I mean, we hadn't had him playing against a whole lot of left-handers early on.
And he can hit lefties.
Yes, but we felt that was a time to give him a day off to physically keep him healthy, and we just got to watch him.
By the way, you're going to get a chance to ask Joe some questions later on in the show. Throughout the week, you go to AskJoe@YesNetwork.com, Facebook, Twitter. All right, let's talk about injuries. And I'm sure a lot of people want to know about Andy Pettitte. In one game, you lose your battery. Let's talk about Pettitte. 2 strikeouts in the 5th inning. I don't know what you guys see in the dugout. He didn't show any kind of discomfort, and boom, you're out there. What was up?
I was told after the 4th inning that he had a knot. He felt he had a spasm in the back of his shoulder.
Like right here?
Yeah, it was back here. So I watched him as he went out. And Andy, when you're older, you're going to feel some things when you go out there and pitch. So, you got to judge what is actually, just the normal aches and pains and what is prohibiting you from being the guy that you're supposed to be. So when I saw, a couple of the fastballs, I said, this just doesn't look the same. It looked like they were 84, 85, and that's what set off the trigger in my head that, this is affecting him more than he's letting us know. And he wanted to stay in. He said, look, I just got 2 outs. I can get 1 more out. And he's going for his 250th win. But I said, look, Andy, we can't lose you for a long period of time because, you end up really pulling something because you want to get this, 3rd out in the inning. We're going to take you out. And it's hard to do, and I think they understand later, but it's hard to do at that time.
Now, he ends up going on the DL, and he had told me, listen, I couldn't throw my bullpen between starts because of this problem, but I just said, let me play catch, and I could still start Tuesday in Baltimore. So why'd you decide to DL him?
Well, we didn't think when the year started that he was going to make 30 to 32 starts. I mean, we just felt with his age and all the innings that he's thrown that every once in a while he might need to skip a start or just have a short timeout in a sense. And we thought, it's a good time. He had the lower back problem earlier. Now he's got this. And let's just let everything calm down and get him back to being fresh and the guy that he can be.
All right, now Chris Stewart, rounding 3rd. You can see he grabs his groin. You guys have not DL'd him. What's the thought process behind that because there are no more catchers?
Well, we don't think it's going to be 15 days. He's able to catch in an emergency. So if I had to do something and I had to put him in, I wouldn't hesitate to do it. So we feel that we're going to probably get him back sometime in Baltimore, we hope, and that's why we didn't DL him.
Look at it this way. All right, the Yankees are in 1st place. I just want you to consider you're playing a 4th-string 3rd baseman, 3rd-string shortstop, 2nd-string first baseman, 3rd-string catcher. How's this happening?
These guys have played great. I mean, and that's the bottom line. And you look and, when you look at the stats, all the stats, we're not at the top of this, we're not at the top of that, but we've pitched pretty good. Our bullpen has been excellent, and we've gotten big hits when we've needed them, and that's why we've won games.
All right, you also got one of your injured players back in Curtis Granderson. And, people forget because your team is doing so well. This guy had 43 home runs last year, so that's a nice guy to get back.
Oh, it's a great guy to get back. And he's given us versatility. He can run, and he's going to go 1st to 3rd, and he's going to steal bases, and he's going to drive in runs. we're excited that he's back. And we missed him for 6 weeks, but he's back, and I'm starting to see the life out of his bat, and he's going to really get going.
Now, you use this phrase a lot, and I kind of laugh at it. Not at you. You go, it's a good problem to have. No, I never would laugh at you. You always say, when these players come back, well, that's a good problem to have. No problem's a great problem to have. So we're already seeing it now. Saturday, against a righty, you had to sit Ichiro.
Right.
And you've got to make decisions between Vernon Wells, Gardner, Granderson, and Ichiro. Somebody's going to be upset.
You were right, but they also understand that they can't play 17 days in a row in 34 out of 35 days. It's just not smart baseball for them. So they are going to get a day off. Each got a day off. Giving Vernon a day off, but we ended up DHing him a couple days when a half was down. And I just want to keep them fresh, because if I keep them fresh, they're going to be more productive. We gave each his days off last year, and I thought it was extremely productive. I'm going to give Gardy some days off, and I'm going to give Wells some days off, and Curtis is going to get one. And the other thing is, there's a lot that can happen over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I don't want to run Curtis out there 10 days in a row to start out, because I think that's unfair to him, because he's not in that type of baseball shape yet.
Granderson did play right field on Saturday. Had a ball go over his head, kind of turned the wrong way. That was his first start ever, first time ever in right field. You think he's comfortable there yet?
I don't know if he's comfortable, but I'm not afraid to run him out there, and the only way to get him comfortable is to put him out there. I mean, that's a tricky ball. The line drives are the toughest ones to read, and it was at the base of the fence before we knew it. So even if he breaks the right way, he's not getting that ball. There's no chance, so he'll get used to it.
All right, you guys have been winning a lot of series. You did lose the series to the Mariners 2-1, but the one game you won was the matchup between CC and King Felix. And it's got to feel good for a team to be down 3-0 to Felix Hernandez and still end up winning that game.
Yeah, it really was. Lyle Overbay got us started, and Lyle Overbay drove in the winning run, and he's been a big part of our success. And, we see Felix every time we face him. I mean, we never miss him, and he's a tremendous pitcher and a tremendous competitor. And we had chances in the first, the second, the fourth, the fifth. And it wasn't until he had to turn the double play in the sixth that we actually got him out of the game, because I think he tweaked something in his hip or his back. And that's how we got him out of the game. But he's got unbelievable stuff.
Now, on Friday, Hiroki Kuroda was really, really good. 8 shutout innings against the Blue Jays. He's 6-2. And I know CC is the ace, but this guy is pretty much an ace as well. He pitched great last year, didn't get a lot of run support. This year, he looks like he's pitching for an all-star berth.
That's the great problem to have, 2 aces.
That is a good problem to have.
So it's a good problem to have 4 really good outfielders. I mean, that's a good problem to have, too. But he was brilliant on Friday night. Melky Cabrera got a hit to lead off the game, a double.
Right.
They don't score, and they don't get a hit until the 7th inning. That's how far he went. And that's a dangerous lineup. And it was one night where he had all his pitches. He had a sinker, he had a slider, and he had a split. Maybe the best split that I've seen him have all year long, because it was really close to being a strike and then diving out of the zone. And he really shut him down.
Well, the Yankees are in first place, and with all the injuries, they're doing it with a lot of help from the minor leagues. We call them the Baby Bombers. When we get back, we'll talk with Joe about some of the younger Yankees. That's next, coming up on WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show right here on Yes.